Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to put together mouth-watering menus that will make people dying to hire you and get your food. So today what we're going to talk about, what you're going to learn is how to put together a delicious menu so that you can use this when you're talking to people or showing them what you prepare and what they might have a chance to enjoy if they were to become a client. Now this is all part of doing your preparation to set up your personal chef business, having some menus dialed in that you can use on your website or your Facebook page or even on paper to show to people or talk to people about so they can get an idea about your services and the food that you like to cook. Now this is really important to do because a lot of times people struggle with they either want to put on a whole bunch of like really fancy crap because they're trying to show that they're a really good cook because they think people will be impressed by that. But the problem with that is that that's not how most people like to eat, especially if you're marketing to families. Now, if your niche is high-end micro-gastronomy or something, then you go on with your bad self. That's like a whole different bag of cats, so that's fine. But we're talking about if you're doing anything from marketing suburban food to regular families to doing special diets, couples, anything like that is pretty much, you want to stick to regular food that people are going to be interested in eating, not stuff that's going to be weird or intimidating for them. So that's the first thing. Now, the other thing is that you'll want to make sure that your menus are balanced. So let's start out with, as a personal chef, generally where you always start is the 5 entree service. It's just a good basic place to get started. And if you're not familiar with that, you can check out my guide on how to prepare a personal chef service. That has a little 3 entree mini service in it. And I also have a blog post that goes into detail about what a 5 entree service looks like. And I'll put both those links down in the comments. So when you're putting together these sets of these 5 entree samples so that people can look at them and get an idea of what it would be like to enjoy your food, this needs to be balanced too. Professional personal chefs know that a lot of times what people want to see on your examples might not be exactly how they're going to end up eating, but you don't want to jump the shark. I don't think that's the right analogy. You don't want to jump forward and do that. You want to be showing potential clients something that is appealing to them to make them want to contact you for the next step. So you want to do sets of 5 and you want to have them be balanced. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're going to be doing vegan or vegetarian. You wouldn't want to do an example of 5 entrees that are all tofu or 5 entrees that are all quinoa or something like that. You want to show them a more broad sampling. So like one might be tofu, one might be, a complex carb base, one might be a sweet potato base, one might be a tempeh or other alternative, one might be jackfruit. How about a pulled jackfruit barbecue bowl on cauliflower rice? Yeah, something like that. So you know what you like to cook. You just want to be arranging these in a way that are appealing to the client. So the 2 things you want to do are not get too crazy, fancy, weird, trying to show people 3-sentence long descriptions with every ingredient listed. This is not a high-end restaurant, unless again that's your niche, but let's not go there. You want to be showing them food that they're going to be enticed to get to know more about. So don't get too fancy with it. Second, do your 5 entrees and make them well balanced. Again, if you're cooking regular classic American food for suburban families, you'll want to probably do a poultry or 2, a red meat or 2, maybe 1 seafood, maybe 1 meatless, and those would be your 5. Again, you wouldn't want them all to be red meat, You wouldn't want them all to be the same style of cooking either. You don't want them all to be grilled dishes, or all to be roasts, or all to be stews, because that's generally not how people eat. Now, sure, in the winter, people will lean towards heavier dishes and stuff, but again, these are supposed to be enticing example entrees to give people an idea of what it would be like to have a week's worth of meals from you. So again, the name of that game is a little bit of variety. And you can also do a set of menus, do one spring, one summer, one fall, one winter. That way you won't even have to update it all the time, because if people come to your website in the middle of winter and they're seeing a lot of really light foods, that might not be how they're feeling like eating then. So if you do each one seasonally, if that's something that you want to consider in your setup of your prep, that is also an excellent idea, just to have something with all four on them. So again, successful personal chefs know the difference between appealing to that potential client in the beginning compared to how they're going to end up eating. Because some clients start off wanting something different every time, and then they end up eating the same favorites over and over. That's really common. Then there are some that are going to want to eat different food every time. That's different than the menus that you want to set up to entice those potential clients in the beginning. So just follow those few examples, and that will be a great way to get them set up, to share them with people, because as you know, that's the second step. The first is all your prep work of getting set up with your recipes and your menus, and the second step is actually talking to people. So when you're ready to do that, you'll have all these menus set up to entice them to becoming personal chef clients for you. And if you're interested in checking that out and seeing what they'd be like, again, I will drop down below in the comments the link to explain a little bit more about what that 5 entree meal prep service you would prepare for a client looks like, and also the link to the guide on how to prepare a personal chef service that'll get you dialed in with some techniques, tips, and everything on how to cook a service for a paying client, what it would be like. It even includes 3 tasty, variety, but not too complicated recipes that you can use if you want to, or how to use your own recipes and do it and feel what it's like to do that service as a personal chef. So thanks very much for joining me here today. I hope that got you inspired to start putting together some menus from your own mastered, delicious, fabulous recipes. And I will see you in the next video.